Hey y'all, today I wanted to make a video about how to fix something that's been bugging me in an ebook that I've been reading. Got here the history of Tom Jones. Sorry, I'm gonna pause 1 second, just make sure, yeah, okay, just want to make sure I'm recording. The History of Tom Jones by Henry Fielding. And this is an ebook that I got from the wonderful Project Gutenberg. But there's something about it that really has been irritating me as I'm reading, and I want to fix it today. I thought I'd make a video to show you how to do this. So first, let's look at it so you can see what I'm upset about. Maybe upset is too strong a word, but let's just go a ways into the book. What we need to find is, here we go. Okay, so every chapter has a chapter title that says chapter whatever in Roman numerals, chapter 8 in Roman numerals, and then it also has essentially a subtitle of the chapter, but the subtitle is contained, I haven't looked behind the scenes yet, but it looks like it's contained inside the same tags as the chapter. And in my mind, as somebody who likes to style ebooks, the subtitle really ought to be in separate tags all by itself with separate styling. Not as large, we could do whatever kind of styling we wanted with it. So what I want to do is search and replace all of these things at once in such a way that the word chapter plus its number is isolated inside the H2 tags, presumably H2, I haven't looked yet, but whatever heading tags they got, and then separate out the subheading into its own paragraph tags with a subheading class that can be styled separately as well. Okay, so that's what I want to do. Yeah, every single one. Some of them, sometimes it's not that bad if the title isn't too long, but some of these subtitles are so long that on my ebook reader it takes up the entire page on that new chapter. So let's get into it. What I'm using here is the Calibre ebook library management system that has an editor built in. This is an EPUB file that we're going to be working on. So I've selected the book. I'm going to press the letter T, which opens up the editor. Excuse me. It looks like I have been in here, at least as far as the style sheet, but we will deal with the style sheets later. First, let's just open up a random file here and see what we're dealing with. It's got the usual heading kind of stuff. Here's what we want to find. H2 is the level, and yeah, I was correct. So each of these H2 tags contains within it not only the chapter and the number, but the subtitle as well. So I want to search for H2 with the chapter. So let's do this. I'm going to select the whole thing, copy, like doing Control C, and then Control F to find, which would do a find and replace. But this one would only match the one that I've got selected here because it's got a unique identifier right here. So what we're going to do is change some stuff so that we could find any of the headings in the book. Okay, so there's a couple of ways you could do this with irregular expressions. First, let's change the mode to regex because we need to have all of the power of searching available to us. It would be extremely tedious to go through as many chapters as this book has and change these one by one. This has to be a batch job. So what I think I want to do is change this ID equals to dot asterisk. That will match anything that's inside the ID tags. I want to put parentheses around this. Well, let's deal with the parentheses later. So, and now let's change this chapter whatever to how do I want to do it? Well, I'll do it So what I've done here is I did dot asterisk will match any characters that come after the word chapter, and I put a question mark to show only up until this next character here, and I've escaped the period. Because I don't want it to get greedy and match these words as well. And here, let's match the m dash dot asterisk question mark all the way up to this period, all the way up to that character, I think, to the open angle bracket. Let's see, like that. And H2. I think, now what we can do to test whether this search is going to work is just click it again. If it's working right, when I click find, it ought to jump to chapter 5, and it does. And notice that I don't know if you can see what it's highlighted this entire thing here from H2 chapter 5 all the way down here. Let's do it again. It should go to chapter 6. Yep, chapter 7, and so forth. So it's finding what we want. Now, that's good. That's a good start. What we need to do, though, is isolate some of these items in here so that we can work with them and put them inside their own tags. So what I want to do is isolate. What we do is put them inside parentheses. So I'm going to do an open parenthesis around H2 ID equals chapter, and I think I want to exclude the period, and then over here I want to isolate this much, so everything after the m dash up to here, and then yeah, let's go ahead and do it this way. Let's see if our finding still works. You know what? I think I want to do that. Put a space there. Let's see if we're still finding the right things. Yep. Okay. So now it's still finding the right stuff. What I've done by putting parentheses around things is isolate them into variable, like holding patterns. So when we search for this, we're going to replace this with \1 will fill in this first bit. So this part right here is all going to be held in variable number 1. And then we're going to do a new line, which is /n, and then what I want to put next is, oh, actually, no, I need to do number 3 too. So we're going to isolate just chapter and then whatever number it is, and then we're going to grab the H2 closing tags right here. That's held in variable number 3. And so we've got the opening of the H2, we've got chapter number whatever, we've got the closing H2. Now we're going to put a new line and put a paragraph tag with a class of subtitle. And then put holding space number 2 in there. Close the paragraph tag. And I think that will do it. Let's try it. You can always undo if it doesn't work right. Okay, so I just did replace, and it looks like it's done what I want. The chapter number is in its own thing now. See that? There's no longer a period after chapter number whatever. The next paragraph down is a class of subtitle, and it hasn't been styled yet, so it looks kind of dumb at the moment. But we could do something real quick to fix that. And then the next one is paragraph with a class of no indent, which is appropriate for the first paragraph of a chapter. Okay, so let's find the style sheet and make a new class for subtitle so that we can more easily see what's going on here. I'll just add it to the end. I don't know how familiar y'all are going to be with with CSS, but to make a new class, we do dot followed by whatever we want the class to be called. So dot subtitle will be this one. And let's do a couple of things that we've got in the other ones. Let's do text align center. We'll start with these, and we can kind of keep an eye on what happens when we paste these values in here. Okay, so right now I've chosen to align the text in the center, have a text indent of 0, a margin of 2, so a margin of 2 on the top and bottom, and a margin of 0 on either end. Let's also do, let's say, font family sans, just for the heck of it. I'm not sure I like that, but you get the idea. And then font size, let's do 85%. Yeah, maybe 75%. Okay, so to me, this makes more sense when I'm looking at it. See, chapter 9, and then the subtitle, which treats of those matters of a very different kind from those in the preceding chapter. Cool, huh? Now, we can change that styling again later if we want to, but for now, let's go back to here and see if it finds and replaces the next one properly. Find, replace, and there we go. Oops. So the next one is done. And what we can do now is just do replace all. And, you know, there could be some false positives where you end up with some that messed up, but I bet you more than 95% of them will be correct just based on what I've done so far. Let's do another find and replace manually just to see. Yeah. Okay, so to me, it looks like it's going to work. So now I'm going to hit replace all. And it did it at 204 occurrences all at once. Oh boy, how great is that? Let's just scroll down a little and see. This book doesn't have a new file for every chapter yet. Chapter 12 looks fine. Let's go into some of the other, chapter. See, this is like, oh, well, yeah, here's one where, there are going to be odd things that are annoying, like this one right here. I'm not crazy about the em dash at the end, but that's the kind of thing that I'm willing to live with for now. At least we got the chapter all by itself, and then the subtitle that's isolated and styled differently. Now, there's another thing that I don't like, and that is how the Roman numerals are all lowercase. I want those to be uppercase. And there are a couple of ways we could do this. One would be to do a find and replace, to kind of like we did here with some regular expressions, to find all of these and then change them to uppercase. But I think that is more invasive than I want to do. I want to leave the file, the actual text inside the source file here the same, but affect it with styling instead in the style sheet. So we could, the quickest, easiest way to do this, and the most brute force method, would be just to change all heading 2 to present in uppercase. So I'll show you what that would do. So we'll find this H2 block here. Oops. I'm going to put this on a new line. The CSS value is called text transform. And there we go. I've made every single header 2 all uppercase just by changing this one line in the style sheet. Now, there might be reasons why you don't want to do that. Maybe you would rather have at the beginning, let's say at the very beginning here, maybe you don't want the entire table of contents to be uppercase like this. And so in that case, there's a less invasive approach that you could take. Let's close this one out. We could do something similar to what we did before, searching for H2 with the word chapter after it. Here, let's just modify this command. I'm going to save this command in a text file just for future reference. This gibberish right here just saved you a ton of work. Isn't that great? Love that. And then it was, this one was the replace. Find, and then replace. Maybe I'll put that in the show notes. Let's look for the same thing we did before, only this time what we'll do is we'll look for H2 ID equals whatever the ID tag is, followed by chapter. And now there will not be a in any of this stuff, basically. Well, we'll keep the H2 tag. Or hang on. So we're looking for chapter followed by space and then whatever. Okay, what I'm going to do is close out this first group after the space and the word chapter, open up a new group that should grab just the Roman numeral, and then close out that group with just the H2 tags. Okay, and now in our replace, we'll do group 1, and then what we want to do is put a span tag around the Roman numeral. So what I want to do is be able to isolate and style just the Roman numeral all by itself. So I'm going to put some span tags around it. Span class equals, let's call it Roman, and then the variable 2 group, insert that, followed by the closing span tag. What is it? Followed by group 3. All right, let's do a find. Okay, so it's found what we want. Let's try replace and see what happens. All right, I think it did what we want, because it kept H2 chapter and then span class equals Roman, and it isolated just this bit, and then the span is closed after that. Now what we do is we go back into the style sheet and take this out of H2, so that way not every character in the H2 is uppercase. So the word chapter, for example, has only a first capital letter. But then let's go down to the bottom of the put and add another. Let's do span.Roman. Open up a new class and then paste text transform uppercase, and there we go. So now every time there is a span of text that is the Roman class, it will be uppercase. Now, I might still decide later that I like the word chapter to be uppercase as well, but this gives us a little bit more flexibility in terms of styling. And so when we go down to the next one, it ought to be styled correctly. Oh, this is book. I haven't done the books. This is book whatever. So you could follow the same procedures when dealing with the book titles. Here's one that didn't catch it. Oh dear. Chapter 1. Why didn't this one? I wonder why this one didn't grab. Oh, because I haven't done replace all yet. Let's do replace all. 208 occurrences. There we go. Okay. You got to actually do it first before it works. Okay. So now, let's go back. Where was it? Down from here? There it is. Book 5, Chapter 1. And the chapter number is uppercase, even though, as you can see right here in the source file, it's a lowercase I there. All right, I've probably gone on long enough. I hope this has been somewhat helpful to you. Now I'm going to do Control S to save my book, and then I'll have to transfer it back over to my ebook reader to read it and have my nice new subtitles and capitalized Roman numerals. Now, I'm pretty happy about that. Hope this is helpful. I will maybe do one of these some other time. Okay, bye y'all.